Alright, so there's some discourse happening right now that is both gaming related and political, so it's perfect for me. I love video games and I love politics. This is exactly what I need. And it just so happens to intersect with the TERF issue, and you guys know how much I love dunking on TERFs. They're pretty dumb and cringe, so it's always very fun. Whew, alright. J.K. Rowling, unfortunately, has cemented herself as somebody who will go down in history, both as the brain behind one of the most loved fictional universes in history, as well as being one of the most bigoted and hated famous people in history, no doubt. And I also have no doubt that future generations will look back on J.K. Rowling much in the same way they look back on, say, H.P. Lovecraft. For those of you guys that don't know what I mean, look up H.P. Lovecraft's cat's name. I'm gonna let the people who didn't know Google that and see their reactions in chat really fast before we move on. So I have a feeling that J.K. Rowling's probably gonna go down in history a little bit along the same lines of that, except apparently H.P. Lovecraft stopped being as racist later on in his life. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit like that, but with trans people, because I'm going to be honest, here's my big brain epic prediction for the future. Trans people are only going to become more and more accepted by society. You know how right now, it's like pretty generally unacceptable to be against gay marriage, or to believe that gay people are like, choose to be gay or whatever, or it's wrong to be gay. Like, these positions are, like, broadly speaking, not very accepted. The right tries to make it seem like they are. It's a smokescreen, but like, in our culture, for the most part, we've gotten to the point where most people are pretty okay with gay people, right? It definitely needs to get better, but we've made a lot of progress, I'd say. That's where trans people are going to be at some point in the future and beyond. And historically, these people, these massive famous celebrities who've basically staked themselves on dying on the hill of being against this minority group, are going to look like shit to future generations, and they're going to look back on on people like J.K. Rowling as bigots. And here's the thing, the internet exists. So all of this stuff is going to be kept in better record than previous controversies and dramas like this have in the past. So J.K. Rowling, for those that don't know, massive transphobe. In fact, she's taken to using her money and her massive wealth to support anti-trans causes, TERF groups, and, you know, other anti-trans groups. She's even started a women's sexual assault and rape shelter that does not allow any trans women in, and only allows women staff, which of course is like basically just for centrists that don't get it and transphobes to basically be like, well, what's the matter with that? When it's like a very clear political move saying, we don't see you as women, you're a threat to women, we see you as rapists of women, so we're making this as sort of a political statement that this is an island away from the trans woman rapists out there. Like, it's very clear what the implication of them making a place like that is. Wouldn't that be illegal? Not in the UK. I don't believe it's illegal in the UK. Probably because of some, like, TERF legislation. J.K. Rowling makes a lot of money off of everything Harry Potter. When you buy a copy of a Harry Potter DVD or rent it on a streaming service, she makes money. When you buy a Harry Potter wand or a Harry Potter scarf or a Harry Potter robe or a Harry Potter fucking plushie or a Harry Potter game or a Harry Potter anything, J.K. Rowling makes money. A Harry Potter book as well, yes. J.K. probably the most when it comes to the books. J.K. Rowling makes money. And that money goes to anti-trans causes, to her crusade that she's been using that money for to fight against trans rights. With that said, a massive, extremely ambitious, extremely hyped up, extremely anticipated, very good-looking Harry Potter game called Hogwarts Legacy is also coming out very soon. And people are very hyped for this game. If this game is not a buggy, poorly promised mess on launch, this game is going to be a bestseller and J.K. Rowling is going to make a lot of money off of it. J.K. Rowling is going to use a lot of the money she makes off of this game to fund anti-trans, not legislation, anti-trans political action, unlike anything that we've ever seen before. This game's going to make a lot of money if it's successful. And that money is going to be very handy to those groups. With that said, a lot of trans people online have come forward saying that they do not feel comfortable with people that openly either A, don't give a fuck, or B, malign those who do give a fuck about the fact that their money would be going to somebody who is actively using said money to fund anti-trans political movements. And this has been being framed as like people are accusing anybody who plays this game of being transphobic. I think a really good example of this absolute dumb fuckery is the Act Man. I really think I need to ramp up my coverage of the Act Man in the future, because he really is just like the most low IQ, bottom of the barrel, like perfectly mask on when it comes to his politics. Like every other video is like chud shit, barely concealed chud shit, but he has enough broad appeal that nobody calls him on it. Act Man, making up a quote, "If you buy Hogwarts Legacy or like Harry Potter, you're automatically a transphobe." Yep, this is a real quote. "That's like saying if you've ever played a Blizzard game, you're automatically a fan of sexual harassment. Where the fuck do people come up with these scarlet brain rot takes?" This dude literally owns a Meme War Veteran 2016 hat, I guarantee it, okay? This guy speaks in, like, gaming terminology only, 100% dick rides Elon Musk privately, and, like, every other... He'll do, like, a fantastic video, at least from the looks of it, it looks fantastic, like, why insert game is so awesome. It's like, fuck, I want to watch that. But I know that every other video you make is how... wokeness is basically, he won't outright say it, but basically how wokeness is destroying video games, or how these woke people are attacking a game you like, or whatever. He's just basically, I think that the Act Man does represent what the next age of anti-SJW, like right-wing gamer propaganda is going to look like. The more they conceal the fact that it is political propaganda under euphemism, and not saying the more well-known buzzwords at this point, coming up with new ones, such as The Message. One of my favorite ones is The Message. I've noticed a lot of those types saying that lately, when they're mad about there being any subtext or, like, a positive message to media that is, like, you should be tolerant and not hate people for how they sarcastically and begrudgingly call it the message. Like, yeah, we gotta get the message out of the way. The obligatory the message. What's the message? Like, literally the idea that, like, they'll call it the message if there's, like, a scene where, like, a gay character accepts who they are. That's the message. And like, they won't outright criticize it because they know how that looks, like, for what it is. So instead they say, oh, it's on the nose, and it's cringy, and it's the message, and everyone already gets it. No one needs this. Nobody needs to be told this. Everybody already agrees. Yeah. It's just a new euphemism for the same arguments that they've been complaining about for a long time. At the end of the day, their complaints are, we don't like video games being more inclusive. Like, that's it. Anyway, Gamergate bullshit aside, let's talk about this Hogwarts Legacy game. Here's a little bit of gameplay. There's a guy talking over this, so I'm just gonna mute it, but, like, here's a little bit of gameplay of how it looks. I actually hadn't seen any gameplay of this until very recently, like 2 days ago, and it convinced me that I do want to play this game. I doubt that the people behind this game are transphobic or anything like that, but I do not plan, nor will I support this game financially, because I don't want to give J.K. Rowling money. Let's just say there are ways of getting this game, particularly on PC, and I am a PC gamer, that don't require you to give J.K. Rowling a dime, not a penny. Not a penny. Yarr, there be many ways. And when this game comes out, let's just say it may take a little bit after release, but I definitely plan to stream it. But it really does look good, I will say. And I'm really annoyed by the fact that, like, it feels as though... All right, I'm speaking out of, like, this is completely, like, me speaking feelings here, right? I feel like watching the way that culture changes politically, like which side politically is more liked by internet culture in particular, it swings like a pendulum so randomly based on this like bizarre line of events that if you get really good at it, you can start to predict, right? This game is basically just by okay, God of War, I guess. This game is basically on accident acting as a catalyst for like internet culture leaning more anti-trans and more right-wing for the time being. A massive video game that's super hyped up that will probably deliver on at least most of the hype when it comes out. That is basically having dishonest political pundits use its success as grounds to attack the trans community. All of the board's perfectly set for this to be a point where like internet culture moves a few ticks towards the anti-trans position, right? But then you get situations like the Andrew Tate thing, right? Where Andrew Tate, who was so beloved and popular even among centrists for such a while, gets destroyed with this whole like sexual trafficking thing, and now even normies are kind of forced to recognize that this whole top G fucking manosphere dude bro shit is full of sex pests and rapists, right? Like it's kind of leading to a more cultural shift more towards the left with that one, right? And it's like we see these random events that happen that you can tell are ticking internet culture in particular more to the left, more to the right, because the internet has a very short memory, and what our culture is based on, or what our culture kind of leads more towards online, and what it's more favorable to, is essentially based on what the default position one would be more likely to take from things like this happening, and whether the right or the left are more effective at politicizing something like this. If the left was more on top of this and saying, hey, there's no problem with playing this game, just know this, this, and this, and it'd be ideal if you pirated it, right? If that was the messaging the left did right off the bat, and the right had not been more prolific in their claims, strawmanning the left, saying, oh yeah, the left says that anybody who likes Harry Potter is automatically transphobic, then maybe we'd have less of tweets like what we just saw from the Act Man. The right always has the advantage. It does feel that way, doesn't it? Like, one of the things you realize when you do lefty activism of any kind, and I consider what I do to be kind of like activism, is that you're always the fucking underdog. You always have less money. You always have less of a platform. You always have less of an audience. Your audience is always less, like, ready and willing to, like, jump to your defense than, like, a right-winger's. Like, just all the things work out for right-wingers to be, like, at the advantage. Which is why it takes you guys being extra poggers and based. With that said, though, listen, you're not transphobic if you buy this game, all right? I don't. I don't think you're transphobic if you buy this game. I don't think that you're automatically a bigot, even based on what media you consume. I think it's okay to find, like, or even certain problematic comedy funny, as long as you recognize why it's problematic and why it's wrong. You can still laugh at it because it's, like, dark and fucked up, and things that are dark and fucked up make you laugh. I don't think that makes you a bad person. I think a lot of lefties just kind of believe that almost principally. Like, if somebody made a legitimately really racist joke that's really dark and fucked up, if you laugh at it, then you are a racist or a bad person in some way. It is more woke and more activist of you, more lefty of you, to not even find it funny. And it's like, no, I think if you've gained humor out of, like, the most horrific thing possible being said, and you recognize it's horrible and that's what you find funny, then I don't think it makes you a bad person to laugh at a really racist joke, for example. And in the same way, I don't think it makes you transphobic or racist to enjoy media that happened to be made by somebody who is transphobic, right? There's not really much in the way of transphobic messaging in Harry Potter, right? And I don't think this game is going to have much of it either. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if this game has like some subtle pro-trans message at some point. Because while J.K. Rowling does have pretty strong control over her products that are Harry Potter related, the game studio is also going to have a fair amount of creative freedom, and game studios leave Easter eggs and little tiny things, you know? Who knows? There could be a trans developer or something that leaves something in there that flies under J.K. Rowling's radar. I'd highly doubt that there'd be any order from top down to, like, no pro-trans or pro-LGBT messaging in this game. That'd be surprising, but I guess it's possible. But yeah, it looks good. We'll stream it, and we'll obtain it through means that do not give J.K. Rowling money. That is all that I will say. All that said, though, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like. It really helps out my channel. You can also comment down below because it also forces YouTube to push my content to more people. You can also subscribe and ring the bell icon so YouTube tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And of course, if you want to see more from me online, you can follow my social medias linked down below in the description, including my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, fan Discord, etc. And of course, finally, if you've got some extra money and you don't need it for anything else and you just don't know what to do with it, you can always support me financially if you want to go the extra mile by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website by clicking the buttons up there, or you can support me financially on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.